Well, yesterday was something else. It was basically an end of an era. Yes, Kamino is finally dead. We all thought what had happened to Kamino after what we saw in the Clone Wars series and in the prequels. Well, now we got the answer, and it is a very, very sad one. The Clone Wars era, as we knew and love it, is now gone. Gone are the clones, and gone are their facilities in which they were made from. The Bad Batch has officially brought an end to the era of the clones in the galaxy with the destruction of Kamino, and it largely focused on the transition of power between the fallen Republic and the newly risen Empire. And so this was a big part of that, being the shift between the clone troopers that we knew and loved from the prequels and the Clone Wars show to now having Imperial stormtroopers, the TK troopers as they're called. To make matters more interesting, Dave Filoni went on to use original artwork from Ralph McQuarrie, in which we see a different variation of stormtrooper armor, and this ended up being the transition armor between clones and stormtroopers. This episode, of course, features the saving of Hunter. Clone Force 99 has now come on a rescue mission to Kamino to release Hunter from their treacherous brother Crosshair. And as we enjoyed throughout the years all of these clones, it seems that the Empire's efforts were to ensure that no more clones would ever be created to rise up against them in the future. In the previous episode, the Empire did start Project Warmantle, an initiative that oversees the introduction of recruited stormtroopers while at the same time phasing out the continued creation and deployment of clone troopers left over from the Clone Wars. It gets even darker though. These new human recruits that would be TK troopers or stormtroopers, these would be trained by the Republic's commandos, which were clone troopers. During that same time, we saw Lama Su get killed, and they absorbed all the Kaminoan scientists, especially Nala Se, into their bubble. Now the Empire is fully in control. In this first part of the season finale, we saw that all the remaining clones and personnel were evacuated from Topoka City, from Kamino, and the Empire decided to shut it all down. Those last few moments, just before it was bombarded, we saw many shots where it was all abandoned. It was all over. Every laboratory, every hallway, the cafeteria even, everything was empty, once beaming with artificial life in the form of clone troopers, now devoid of everything, empty, waiting to be dismantled by the evil Empire. In fact, it was Admiral Tarkin who gave out the order himself, telling Admiral Rampart that he may fire when ready. 3 Venator-class Star Destroyers started bombarding the city, wiping out the iconic location that, again, we have grown to love, even in video games. It reminded me yesterday, honestly, of Battlefront 2, the classic one in 2005. I grew up playing that game, and especially the Kamino Uprising was a very, very special mission, to say the least. We get to see Boba Fett, a clone of Jango, go back to his home and destroy it together with the Empire and the Stormtroopers. It seemed that this time, Admiral Rampart was the one to do that. This truly marked the end of the clone era in the Star Wars galaxy. In previous episodes, they made it logical to why the Empire would destroy Topoka City on Kamino, because simply put, the Empire did not want the Kaminoans to continue their work. As Lama Su very well noted, now that the Empire is a dominant power in the galaxy, they can't have the Kaminoans offering their cloning services to any other potential, maybe enemy of the Empire, to build a new clone army and go up against them. Now, that being said, it seems though they still have a vested interest in their sciences and technologies, provided that they're the ones overseeing and controlling the efforts that these scientists, such as Nala Se, would be taking part in. And we all know where this is leading to. We know very well that these cloning methods will go on to be of great use in the future, especially by what we see in the rise of Skywalker. It is something that Palpatine will take a great advantage of, especially with Snoke and himself, possibly even stuff that we have not seen yet. And Star Wars does have that shock value of the element of surprise always getting you to where you did not expect. However, that being said, Palpatine has no use for Kamino itself, since basically he will soon start work on Exegol as well. Presumably that's where the timeline is, and many more worlds to his own liking, where he will continue to grow these cloning facilities and oversee them personally. My thing is, what will happen to Nala Se? How will she be used in furthering the goals of Emperor Palpatine and his newly found empire? Whatever the case may be, Admiral Rampart and Tarkin did make sure that those facilities on Kamino would be bombarded to shreds to prevent future unsanctioned clone creation. And while this is a sad moment in the Star Wars timeline, it may be even worse by the fact that the Bad Batch were still inside those facilities as they were being attacked, and with very few options as the Kamino and Platform City it was exploding all around them, the episode did end on a major cliffhanger. However, we know that it's Clone Wars 99. Most of them will go on to survive, if not probably all of them will go on to survive somehow, although it's gonna be very difficult to see how they will manage that. But in all honesty, it shouldn't be a problem. The bigger problem is that they have no more Kamino, they no longer have a home to come back to ever again, and now they're truly desperate. They're truly out there, nomadic, traveling from planet to planet, essentially searching for a nook, a home that they could be comfortable in, although it is pretty impossible at this point. So season 2 will probably see them similar to the middle half chunk of season 1. We'll see them move from planet to planet, maybe even go on missions, but I get the feeling that Captain Rex will be very much involved in season 2, much more than in season 1, and who knows, maybe we'll get to see Ahsoka as well, and I cannot wait. I know that Dave Filoni will not be able to resist bringing back Darth Vader again. So all these things, season 2 should be very promising to say the least, and I can't wait for 2022. So guys, let me know down in the comments, even though Kamino is now over and done with, that part of Star Wars is now finished, what are you expecting from season 2? Talk to me down below in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up as well, subscribe for dailies. Now you can have an awesome day, Star Wars fans. I'll see you in the next video, and may the Force be with you until then.